we don't know if we're going to be given good news, bad news, even more restrictions. Another issue that gives us a tad anxiety for this appointment. Maybe Paul cannot be in the OR with me.
It's another one. Because of people being irresponsible, not wearing masks, not taking precautions, things are getting worse. So then people like us, that we're doing everything we can to help, and we're the ones screwed out of this. So that now, imagine, I may not be able to be in the OR.
Buddy! Orion got excited. He's like, who are we saying hi to? Who are we saying hi to? So today's vlog is a little bit stressful, extra. I mean, you come up with the type of emotion you would be feeling for an appointment like today. Today's appointment, we are going to the OBGYN and finalizing my C-section date, which is nerve-wracking, and then asking all the questions I need to ask, and as well as go over my birth plan. There's a lot of things me and Paul have in our birth plan. Do not worry, guys, I will do a vlog explaining my birth plan, but I first want to get an A-OK from my doctor, get their approval, and I will, you know, kind of do like a side-by-side, like certain things I did take off that my hospital wouldn't be able to do, but could be an option for you and your hospital stay. To each his own. But right now, we are on our way out. We're going to run a couple errands, but do not worry, guys, we're going to keep updating you when we're in the car and explain more. Alrighty, guys, so we are in the car. We ran a few errands, and when I say errands, it's preparation for this baby.
Yep.
I got a couple extra snacks because we do also have like a snack box that we're going to be bringing with us to the hospital, because you know, you never know, you're always hungry. You can wake up at 3 in the morning starving. The hospital may not have stuff. You don't want to go to the vending machine or have your significant other go to the vending machine, so we kind of packed additional snacks to help us get through this hospitalization when the baby officially arrives.
Plus, if I wake up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, something like that, you can, you know, munch on something, kind of help stimulate you, wake yourself up a little bit more so you're actually paying attention to what you're doing.
So once again, let us do a recap. Today's appointment, we are going to our OBGYN, not the high-risk OBGYN. This is our regular OBGYN, and we are going to talk about finally our C-section procedure, which is very nerve-wracking for the both of us. Like, we are on the verge of having a panic attack. Just the nerves, I have so many butterflies. It is a surgery, you know, like this isn't something easy. I have been mentally preparing for a while. All the preparing mentally in the world still gives me a little anxiety, and there's nothing wrong with that. Another thing we are going to be talking about as well is my birth plan. Fine tip. Every doctor's office is different and has their own policies, but let me tell you what my doctor's office is doing. Apparently, I have seen a lot of messages in the past of people saying, you know, their doctors never checked out their birth plan. They checked them out very late. Like, it was not much of a priority. I have been advocating since 20 weeks, like, hey, birth plan, I need you guys to go over it. I want to make sure everything's to a T. I want to make sure we are on the right page.
Can you tell she's organized?
And it was funny because the nurse told me, like, oh, well, you need to set up an appointment, a separate appointment in a sense, for a birth plan consultation, which I have never heard of, never knew existed, and I wanted to let you guys know that because that could be a possibility for your doctor's office.
So a typical follow-up OB appointment is around 15 minutes. So you show up, the doctor, you know, with the Doppler listens to the baby's heart rate, make sure the heart rate is okay, answer any questions, concerns, go over how you've been feeling, see if any tests have to be run, any kind of things like that. So it's kind of like a quick, clean-cut, simple appointment. So for this, This is a 30-minute appointment, so it's a bigger time spot, and it's enough so that they can do the same stuff they always do and have a little bit extra time to talk about the birth plan, go over it, discuss what to add, what to remove, you know, because you may have something on there that
is out of the hospital's control.
Exactly, is out of the hospital's control, or something that is just standard, so it's not 100% necessary for it to be there. So that's the whole point of going over it.
Now, my birth plan is very detailed.
Very.
So there's certain things such as when Paul says we don't know if the hospital will allow it, I saw an idea saying like when you are in the OR getting the procedure done, the C-section done, you can have aromatherapy. You know, so you can block out all the, you know, hospital scents that you get hit with and can be overwhelming and nauseating. So I put that on there, and who knows, I'm more than happy to take it off if the hospital can't, you know, do it, which is perfectly fine, but it never hurts to try.
So welcome to Florida, here where nobody has to wear a mask anymore, and they don't know if you're vaccinated or not. So every single place has removed their mask mandate, even places like Disney.
Yes.
And it's to the point that we are getting more cases per day of COVID than Florida has ever had, even in peak times of COVID when this all started. So the other day there was, I think, almost 22,000 cases in one single day of COVID when we were hitting lows of like 2,000-3,000 in a day. So things were starting to ease back on the restrictions because, hey, we're actually doing really, really well. Summertime has come, the parks, everybody traveling, everybody coming here, and the cases have again skyrocketed to, you know, peak COVID numbers again. The hospitals before were starting to, you know, roll back restrictions, allow more visitors, be a little bit more lenient on certain things, and that's great, you know, fine. Now they're getting so many more new cases that our hospital system here in Orlando is called Advent Health. That's the big one. They went into code yellow a few weeks ago because they had more cases, and just a few days ago they went into code black. Code black is literally nobody except essential personnel in the hospital, and no elective surgeries are being done. So if you don't have an emergency reason why you're in the hospital, you're not supposed to be inside the hospital. Any kind of imaging, any kind of blood work, anything like that, if it's non-emergent, they do not allow you into the hospital. And procedures have all been rescheduled, canceled, all these things till months later, because they go, if it's not an emergency, life-threatening, that you need it done right now, they don't do it. That's a big concern, but I did call the hospital, because I was like, you know, with the C-section, I just want to make sure, you know, and I called the hospital and I spoke to somebody and they go, when it comes down to C-sections, the baby is coming whether you like it or not. So they just told me, even during peak COVID, the first time they went code black, all C-sections, elective, everything, they still do them, they still schedule them. The only difference is that sometimes they can be pushed back, maybe a few hours, maybe a day.
Now, another issue that gives us a tad anxiety for this appointment. We don't know if we're going to be given good news, bad news, even more restrictions. And another one is, you know, maybe Paul cannot be in the OR with me.
That's another one.
And that gives me and Paul such anxiety, because that's what really made this whole journey kind of, like, in my eyes, like, worth it. Like, we get to be in the OR together, we get to see,
experience this beautiful moment together.
Yeah, and now kind of like having to do it by myself. I can do it, but oh my gosh, I don't know.
She can do it. I can't.
Paul's like, I have to be there. I have to hold her.
No. It's one of those things that, you know, because of people being irresponsible, not wearing masks, not taking precautions, things are getting worse. So then people like us, that we're doing everything we can to help, and we're the ones screwed out of this. So that now, imagine, I may not be able to be in the OR, or only one person can go in the hospital and be with Janice while she's recovering, because, you know, my mother wanted to come and help and be a part of it, and she's going to be helping us for weeks on end afterwards once the baby is here, and she may not be able to come. So imagine, I will have zero break while in the hospital, recovering, taking care of Janice, taking care of the baby. You know, there may be sometimes I have to go shower, or I need to use the restroom, or, you know, I have to go do something, whatever it may be, and it's just going to be 10 times more difficult because only one person is allowed per day. Just when they say one person, it's not that, oh, well, I can leave when my mom comes in. No, it is one person visiting per day. So I have to sign into the little logbook that me, Paul, went into room 3, whatever, for example, and guess what? That's the only person who's allowed in that room to visit. I can't. And if my mother goes first before me, I can't go in.
This is our very first time, you know, going through this, so we want to experience everything together. We want to do this together, and this doctor's appointment makes us nervous because we're going to be kind of like told exactly
what's going to happen.
Yeah, what is acceptable, what is not, what are the restrictions, and it's not that easy to advocate and fight against, honestly.
Yeah, and this is taking its very hard toll on my stomach because I am not going to lie, I have been anxious and nervous for this appointment because...
This is the life of a crony, guys. How many times have you used the bathroom?
Today alone, like 6, and it's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I can tell when something's really like bothering Paul, just the amount of times he's going to the bathroom.
No, my stomach right now is in a knot. It's like flipping, like how Sushi does her gymnastics. My stomach is just, I can't deal with it. I'm like scale of 1 to 10, the amount of pain I'm in right now is like a 4 or 5. It sucks.
As you guys can see, this also takes a toll on your caretaker, on your spouse, on the person who's going to be there with you throughout pregnancy. So we can't say it's all on the woman does everything. No, there's some, you know, emotions going through the caretaker as well during a pregnancy.
Of course, I'm nervous for my wife. I want to make sure that her and the baby are okay, and you know, I want to make sure that everything is taken care of amazingly because, you know, the United States has one of the highest infant mortality rates and birthing mortality rates than almost every other country in the world, so
So these are all the things we're going to be advocating for, you know, seeing what are the restrictions are. We are here in the office. We're still waiting for our call back to go into the office, and because they're going to have a room waiting for us. We just go straight there. So we're going to calm our nerves, but we will update you guys once this appointment is over. You can't see it. My eyes are big. I'm like, oh. So we are on our way to the office. We got the notification. I screamed a little because that's how nervous I am.
So previously, they just wanted you to wear a face mask. Now they're going back to when COVID first started. Whatever face mask you have on, you have to replace it with one of theirs. We double our masks.
We do.
So I don't care.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we take this serious. We're about to enter the anxiety. I'm so nervous. And I'm prepared. I have my book bag. I have all my files. I have pen, paper for any correction. Let's do this. You can't see me, but I'm here. I am nervous. The nurse just left. We're in our room, and the doctor will be coming back very shortly. You know, I love making conversation with nurses. I don't know, you know, to lighten the mood, make it a little bit easier. Paul tells me I ask always the stupidest questions, and it's just from their job. So I was just like, she asked me what the baby's name was. I told her. She's like, oh, it's so beautiful. And I was like, you have to say that. Like, let's be honest. And I was just like, what is the worst names you have ever heard? I'm sorry for anybody with these names. What did she say, Paul?
So the names weren't crazy. They were just Bob and Ted.
That's it.
So it wasn't that the baby was named Robert and they shortened it to Bob, or Theodore and they shortened it to Ted. It was the short version. So it was Bob and Ted.
Yep.
And she goes like, that's really weird to have a little newborn baby. What's his name? Bob.
I'm like, well, what did you say? It
needs a suit instantaneously.
At 3 months old, just get him a suit. So, I am nervous because I do know there's a strep B. Am I correct? Is that how you say it?
I don't know. I think so. Sure.
We have to do a strep test. I believe it's called strep B. If I mess up, I'll do the correction down here. You guys will see it. I have heard not so pleasant things. This is something that a lot of mothers are blindsided by, apparently. And I did do my research, and apparently this is a test. I don't know what it's a test for. I'm so sorry. Like, I guess I haven't done full research. But the protocol apparently is that they're going to do a vaginal sweep, and then they're going to do an anal swab afterwards. So this actually surprises a lot of mothers. So I will let you guys know what this appointment entails. But apparently this office does it at 36 weeks. I'm 35, so Paul looked at me, he's like, I guess you're coming back next week. You excited for that? And I'm like, no. Ugh. Okay, so Paul looked it up. He is amazing to reassure me. So what is it, Paul?
So pregnant women are screened for GBS or Group B strep. It is a routine prenatal care. The test for GBS is called a culture. It is now done between 36 and 38 weeks of pregnancy, and it is a swab used to take a sample from both the vagina and the rectum.
I'm not excited for that.
It says that it's found in 25% of healthy adults.
Okay, great. Like, I don't want to do this. So if you are getting to that point, you guys know, you women out there, you have to do the swab. And some women are caught off guard. I'm not kidding. Some women are like, why are you in my booty hole? I don't understand. So I don't know how I heard of it, but someone told me like, oh, don't worry, in your 30 weeks, you're going to have to do a test. That's really uncomfortable. Alrighty, guys. So we are back in the car. You guys have no idea. The anxiety was through the roof.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know, we are first-time parents. This was a big appointment. Now, it is weird. I was going in like, okay, we got this. This is going to be, we can advocate. I left now with more anxiety than I did going in, and Paul vice versa.
I am a much more relaxed person right now. I'll be very honest with you. I would rip somebody's head off if they said the wrong word to me going into this doctor's appointment.
So let us update you guys. So the appointment went well. It did. But I felt like there was some things we didn't touch base on much. So Paul's going in. He is getting me and the whole family food. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I just had a very big discomforting cramp right now. Okay. So I did have a couple complaints to talk to the doctor about, you know, how I'm feeling, the Braxton Hicks contractions I've been having. And I explained it in a way that where the resident of the doctor looked at me and was like, that's not normal. So the Braxton Hicks contractions that I've been feeling, the best way I could describe them is it feels like a cyst is erupting. Like, it is painful. And I told her that I was just like, the best way I could describe it, it's like a cyst erupting inside my ovary. And she looked at me, she's like, that's not how a contraction should be feeling. And I'm like, really? And she just told me, she's like, yeah, it needs to be more of like the tightening of the uterus, tightening of the baby in certain areas. And I felt that, but it's not as painful as, you know, the whatever I'm feeling. Now, the doctor did check where the baby's head was, and he just said, he's like, with the positioning of the baby, this is probably the reason why you're feeling those types of cramps. So I don't know if they're contractions, I don't know if they're cramps. They just said, take it easy, it's the baby's positioning, you know, it's gonna be painful. Now, we did talk about the C-section, when it would be. Every hospital is different. Every hospital has their own system or their way of doing things. So we have our C-section planned for what? I am really scared. You know, I was talking to the nurse like, hey, did we already schedule our weekly appointments? Because after a certain point, depending on your doctor and their protocol and policies, it could be at 34 weeks, you start seeing the doctor every single week to, you know, get a checkup, see how far along you are. But for my doctor's office, they do 35 weeks. So we have an appointment for next week for the strep B, which that was something the doctor did tell me. He's like, you don't have to do it since you're not doing a vaginal birth. He says it's best to somewhat do it for the pediatrician and the pediatrician's peace of mind. So I'm gonna do that fun test. We already have our other appointments set up. My last doctor's appointment with this OBGYN, getting checked up. Oh, I'm going to be nervous. You guys have no idea. So Paul is back in the car and we're gonna keep updating you guys. Yes. So the one thing that kind of made me anxious, nervous, honestly, out of the whole appointment is, can Paul be with me in the hospital, in the OR? And that's a big one. We did ask the nurse, and she was just like, well, we are in code black.
And as I mentioned before, code black is no elective procedures and only one visitor per room per day in the hospital. So, you know, it's back to like kind of peak COVID restrictions because they relaxed a lot and now they're full force again.
And she just told me, she was just like, I just recently heard they're not allowing anybody, no additional support, nothing inside the hospital. And I'm like,
so we just started freaking out. We're like, you gotta be kidding me now, you know? So what I did is I called the main hospital, talked to them, and I got an operator. The operator transferred me to the labor and delivery department. A nurse answered the phone, and I explained the whole situation, like, hey, C-section, this, that, the other. What is the COVID protocols right now? She was nice enough to tell me that currently, today, one person is allowed in the OR. One. Before it was two, now it is one. And up to 2 people can visit. Now, I am one of those 2 people each day, obviously, but that is nice because, hey, my mom can now actually come and take care of the baby, whatever. I can go shower right quick, I can use the bathroom, or if I have to go do something really fast, go get food, whatever it is, that can happen. So those are all pluses. The nurse did say, these can change. This is how it is today. Tomorrow it can be different. A week, 2, 3 weeks, it can be different. So even what I have been told, that even during peak COVID, when this all happened, they still allowed people, 1 in the OR, 1 visitor. So as long as I'm allowed in the OR, that's all I care about. I will deal with being the only person there recovering with Janice and the baby. I don't care. I'll figure it out. Okay? So that's not my concern, is during the OR, the actual procedure. That's what I have to be there. And I told Janice, I'll figure it out. I do not care. They're not going to hold me back. It's going to take like 4 people to hold me back. So what's going to happen next is this. The doctor has to put in the orders for the C-section. And, you know, he went over some of the information with us today and figuring out which day. There's 2 days, 2 different doctors. Both doctors are excellent. We've met one of them and the other one we will meet soon. So, you know, he's going to put in the orders. He's like, once I put that order in, that request, within 24 to 48 hours, hopefully the scheduling department will call you. And then from there, they can like finalize the date.
And we also did get the all clear to do the hospital pre-registration.
Yes.
That is a little bit of advice from us, guys. Get that done before you get admitted or you go into labor, because imagine sitting in the waiting room or somewhere having to fill out so much paperwork. So we are gonna do that once we get home.
Yes. And that just again makes the day of slightly less stressful. You know, you're already going to be freaking out because you have to do surgery, or if your water broke and you're there as kind of like an emergency C-section, that adds another complication onto it, and try to do something to make your life easier.
So there is still a lot of things somewhat up in the air. I'm a little bit still anxious. Like, Paul's a little bit more relaxed, at least. Me, not so much. I'm just like, I don't know, I'm pregnant. I have so much to go through. I have so many hurdles still.
Of course, and don't get me wrong, Janice has a lot to go through and overcome, and it's just one of those things that I am less stressed because the doctor gave us 0 issues, 0 pushback.
The insurance didn't give us much issues either. We were expecting to pay a lot again just walking into this office.
Yeah, like just to see the doctor, I was genuinely expecting them to be like, okay, it's $285 or something like that. You know what I mean? So we got no issues there. So that's all good. That's all positives. And yeah, so far, to me, things are a little bit better. I am not as stressed. I am a little bit more relaxed. Obviously, there's still a surgery. There's still recovery. There's still a long road ahead of us.
There's still a lot of preparations, but at least we have a date and we can arrange everything around that date.
Exactly.
All right, guys, so I'm not feeling the best. I'm feeling queasy, nauseous, like I guess maybe the stress pregnancy is getting to me. So this is where we're gonna end it. We're gonna take it easy, and I hope you guys are having an amazing time as well. Do not forget, once again, I am pregnant. Our vlogs are gonna, you know,
slowly diminish
a little bit. What do we mean by that? You guys remember we used to post every single day. Now after pregnancy, I was posting maybe 3 times a week. Now we dropped that down to 2 times a week, and soon it's gonna be once a week.
Yes, once the baby's here, you know, we're gonna try to have some vlogs stored up, and as recovery goes, we're gonna try to edit, record, and post some stuff, but you know, our focus is going to be elsewhere.
Exactly.
With the baby, especially those very first few months. That's very crucial. So we're going to do our best and try to keep up with social media as much as we can, but you know, I know everybody's understanding our priority and our focus has been shifted to now this small little creature that's yelling and screaming and crying and needs its diaper changed. So guys, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. We truly appreciate all the love and support. Orion loves it as well. You can see his happy face with his floof. He's wagging his tail, by the way. In the description below, you will find links to both Orion's Instagram, so you can see his service dog journey from when he was a wee little pup, as well as our Patreon. Patreon is an exclusive behind-the-scenes platform that we use, and we give all the behind-the-scenes content as what's going on with us, the Raw Life family, and we do offer one-on-one Skype sessions, which for right now, they have been put on hold because pregnancy. Yeah, so you know, for right now guys, if you do want the inside scoop, head on over to our Patreon, check that out if you want to help support the channel. We truly appreciate it.
All right guys, I'm exhausted, my back hurts, I'm having so many emotions right now, so much discomfort, but that's part of pregnancy once again. This is where we end it. I hope you guys are having an amazing time and you enjoyed this vlog full of information. So guys, for now, adieu and goodbyes.